Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
This is a great story because this comes from a big Toyota leads the world in car sales. So they know.
They've been very outspoken lately.
And they have. Toyota Motor Company has come under fire for what critics call foot dragging on pure electric vehicles. Now the world's biggest automaker is fighting back with its most robust report. Robust report, wow, retort, excuse me. Its message to those who say electric vehicles are the only way forward in the global battle to cap carbon dioxide emissions, science says you're wrong. Toyota is rolling out new facts and figures to back its strategy of taking a multi-pronged approach, blending the electric vehicles with hybrids and other green technologies. Toyota insists new calculations show that EV-only strategies, all the rage in some corners, fall short of reducing the carbon level.
Well, and the next sentence here is pretty good too, because it talks about Toyota's chief scientist, Gil Pratt. He made the pitch at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Yes.
It's where everybody hops in their private jets and they all meet up to tell you how you need to cut back on your carbon emissions.
Got to tell you that you can't drive that. You got to pay extra for your car to have a catalytic converter put on it.
I got to say kudos to him because that is the lion's den when it comes to questioning things like that.
Yes, it is.
And I mean, again, that's the sad part is that probably all of the other car companies are thinking the same way. They're having the same discussions, but they're afraid to do that. They're afraid to come out and say, no, you're wrong. So kudos to Toyota for coming out and saying that.
Whoever is behind the big push for electric only, and they're wrong. I agree they're wrong. We need a mix. First of all, the American people want a choice.
Right.
We're not gonna go with you have to drive an electric car. Or you quit driving when you're 50 and you have to take a Uber. Well, whatever this is going to have, this is all leading up to more. All I'm telling you is this whole electric push is by somebody. And I believe it's the people that plan on selling the electricity.
Well, it's the people at Davos, all the people that took their private jets.
Well, exactly. They took their private jet to an event to tell you about how you're polluting the air with your car.
Right. And these are people that are probably, a lot of them are either politicians or wealthy. They're kind of out of touch. They're out of this idea. These are the same people that said, "Oh, just go out and buy a new electric car for $60,000 if you can't afford gas."
Yeah, they think everybody's got $60,000 in their back pocket.
And that's the problem is you have a lot of people that are out of touch telling people that are right now, and you talked about this before the show, about people that are struggling right now to make their utility payments and buying food. They're telling them, just go out and buy an electric car. Just go out and buy an electric car, put in a new charger, spend that extra money. They're that out of touch. And that the average person, what it comes down to is what's the average person going to do? If they don't want to buy the EV, they're just going to keep driving their car until they hit 300,000 and 400,000 miles.
See, and what gets me, electric cars are great. You want to have an electric car, you don't have one. They're the future, I know this. But there's going to be a choice, I believe this. And hydrogen, I think, is going to be the other choice. But now, I get this thing about natural gas. What comes out the tailpipe of a natural gas car is nothing, zero. A drip of water here and there. But nobody wants to talk about gas. Now they're trying to outlaw gas. They want to ban gas. They want to get rid of your stove. They want to gas is bad, and your gas bill has tripled.
Right.
And they're letting them do it for a reason. They want people to hate gas.
But when you say that there's going to be a multi-pronged solution, there will be, unless government mandates EV only. And that's the mistake that hopefully California and those other states are going to start going back on that and revising that to allow these other options. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem.
They have anything that is zero emission vehicles. But still, to ensure that all the vehicles are going to be changed over by that date, that's insane. That's absolutely insane.
But remember, an electric car isn't zero emission. The emission happens at the plant down, on the other side of the state, and you don't have to think about it. Or the coal plant or whatever.
Or that mine where they get the lithium out.
Right.
Yeah, electric vehicles are not green. They are not avant-garde. They are not fancy. They're not what we need. If you want to go zero emissions, you want hydrogen or natural gas. You could even run them on propane. Now, let me tell you something about natural gas. You can do a natural gas car. You could actually take the car you're driving, Chuck, and make it a natural gas burning car.
Right.
You could do that. So the transition is minimal. No, it's not minimal, but compared to what we're going through now, they are dropping billions and billions with a B now into new plants and battery plants and refurbing this plant into a battery plant.
Well, we have this one story I just want to mention real quick. So for instance, you mentioned lithium. So General Motors is going to invest $650 million on a lithium mine in Nevada. I got the, and they got one of the Nevada places got a government grant of $730 million. Right. So you're already at over $1 billion just for that one lithium mine.
I got to tell you. And you could have done this so easily. There are vehicles out there right now. I know at least one fleet that is two that's running on natural gas. The Doreen's Pizza out of Cal City, a bunch of trucks. You see them at all the events and that, little trucks with pizzas. And Ozinga Concrete.
Oh, Ozinga's, yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah. And they put that on all their trucks, and you can see it.
Exactly. It says right on there.
Right. But remember, that's the difference, though, is they made the investment. I mean, a lot of the garbage trucks are the same, but they have their own fueling station because nobody else did. Well, so that's the thing, is they have to invest.
But they made the transition to natural gas in a matter of 3 years.
Right.
And it didn't cost 3 times what it should because of all the precious minerals we have to dig out of the ground, the precious minerals that we have to dig out. This electric deal is fine, but it's not going to be. And you know what? They can't come out and say, Chuck, you got to buy an electric car because I can't afford it. You took everything else at the grocery store or at the gas station. Now what do you want?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or for the gas bill. Of course, they'd probably take my furnace. I don't know. The government can't do this. They can't do this. They think they can, but they can't.
Well, but that would be the question, though, is that, so, I've said to you before about this idea of you're not going to be electrifying backhoes and bulldozers and things like that. So this, an LNG or a propane solution, something like that is a reasonable, and again, Ozinga is concrete trucks. They have hundreds of concrete trucks that are powered by natural gas. And it's working fine for them. And they just keep buying more and more. It's not like an experiment.
Well, I don't know how it is now with the gas bills the way they are.
But the thing is, though, that is a reasonable solution if you're going to make, again, heavy equipment. They're not going to go electric. You're not going to have an electric backhoe. You're not going to have an electric, paving equipment, things like that. You're going to have something else, and this is a reasonable solution for that.
We are still taking the bugs out of these electric cars and the different problems they have and the fires and all the rest of this bull. And with that gasoline, natural gas powered, and that's a big truck. Cement truck's a big truck.
Right.
It's got a couple of power takeoffs on it and everything. It's got to have a big, powerful motor to run that barrel going around. I mean, and they run on natural gas. And it took them 3 years, maybe 3 years.
Right.
To just change their fleet over, because it was not a big deal to change a big V8 engine to put in there, because it's got to have a big engine to haul all that cement, and they run it on natural gas, and it runs just the same. It's fine.
Shows it can be done. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be done. But now this electricity, it's already taken 3 or 4 years of big money. I mean, I am floored every time I turn around. Another $7 billion, another $6 billion. Going into this plant or that plant, or General Motors is going to do this and spend all this money. And now you got little old Toyota, and they're not little, they're big, saying, hey, we're kind of dragging our feet on this for a reason. They can always build an electric car.
Right.
It just takes money.
Well,
it takes big money.
So again, that's the whole thing, is that government can mandate something, but I still have to go and pick. For now, I still have to pick. Am I buying a Tesla? Am I buying a Ford pickup EV, or am I buying a Toyota? I still have to pick. And again, this whole idea is, if any of these companies pick wrong, it's basically the end of their company. If they go all in on EV and if it doesn't work, or if they choose wrong, and they're all probably up at night having meetings going, what are we going to do? Because if they choose wrong, it's it for them.
Well, you saw that story last week. General Motors put all that money into that engine plant, V8 a V8 engine plant to power their trucks and stuff because they don't see the whole world going electric that quick, and it's not gonna. You would think they'd want to get something they could run on hydrogen or natural gas. They could run those on natural gas or propane.
Or at least a vehicle where you can change out the power plant one way or the other.
Exactly, but it's just, if you get it when they're building it, you put a different engine in. I mean, there's no big expense.
No, but I'm saying you have the same basic frame.
Yes.
Swap out. Okay, in this place we're going to do this. And
you're just driving. You know what? And you'll be driving the same car you were driving now.
Right.
You just won't be polluting the air. But I guess that's not good enough for them. We have to have coal-fired furnaces to make electricity. We have to have lithium and cobalt dug so deep out of our ground it violates the Earth's crust. I'm just telling you, there's something smells here. There's something that smells. You know, my dad used to use that phrase, Chuck. There's something rotten in Denmark, but I think it's a little closer than that this time. I got to say this. Of the 2 or 3 or 4 solid ways to go for a green environment, a green automotive environment, electric is the least. Natural gas is first. Hydrogen is second. And propane is third. And electricity is the worst green car out there. I just got to say that. And I'm saying that for a fact. I'm not making this up. It's nice to have electricity. It's nice to have the car, but I don't know. I'm just, you know what, and I'll probably hear about that, but I'm just telling you like it is. The least favorable way to go zero emissions is electric. It's not going to be zero. All right. Speaking of electric, here we are, Chuck. Travel Centers of America is going to install 1,000 chargers along the U.S. highways.
Wow, okay.
1,000. Mm-hmm. I have more cars go around my corner than that.
Well, it's a start. You got to start somewhere.
Electrify America and Travel Centers of America detailed a new partnership. Oh, it's Electrify America and Travel Centers. They have a new partnership Monday to install 1,000 chargers at 200 travel centers locations along major highways over the next 5 years. So you got to wait 5 years to charge your car. The partnership will add Electrify America charging stations to major travel corridors, aiming to ease consumers' range anxiety on road trips. But if I get as far as that gas station, I got to plug it in. What do I do now? Sit in the car?
You go in and you get a cheeseburger and do whatever, get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and write 3 letters home, and, you know. The installation will further expand access to EV chargers along highways. General Motors EVgo and the Pilot Flying J, that's another truck stop, in July made a similar agreement, which plans to install 2,000 chargers at 500 Pilot Flying J centers. I don't know that they're going to need more than a couple of chargers because they're not going to have that many electric vehicles out there. The pace of installation and the locations of the chargers will depend on the grant funds. Here we go. The grant funds. Whatever the government gives us, then of course we're going to put them wherever they tell us, because with money comes control. Travel Centers of America spokesman Tina Arundel told Automotive News Travel Centers currently has a handful of charging sites with Tesla, FreeWire, and ChargePoint. You know, they're going to have to have a motel at every. They're going to have one of those 4-hour motels where you can rent a room for 4 hours, take a nap, and go back and your car's charged. You hope they'll come up with something better. I understand they're going to make it better. This is all the beginning stages, but I got to tell you, these beginning stages have crept along in the electric world. They're making all these changes to all these plants and popping out these batteries and all this good stuff. And I don't see a lot of electric cars on the road. You see more now, but I don't see people jumping up and down saying, oh my goodness, I want. And then you don't hear about 200,000 charging stations going across the country, because that's what it's going to take. If you want all electric by such a date, you better have 200,000 charging stations waiting for us. Okay? Because they're just not. And then, of course, you got to find out who's going to sell you the electricity. And there is where the money lies. Well, California, the land of fruits and nuts, I'm telling you, they are number one in electric cars. They want electric vehicles, blah, blah, blah. A California regulators consider whether to revoke a ban on autonomous heavy-duty trucks on public roads. Labor organizers and allies in the state legislature are pushing back. The California Labor Federations and several Teamsters locals rallied in Sacramento on Monday for proposed legislation requiring a trained safety driver to be in the cab during any testing or operation of an autonomous big truck, any vehicle over 10,000 pounds. The bill acts as a backstop in case this California Assembly members, there's like 4 or 5 of them, put a bill together to get this done. The bill acts as a backstop in case the California Department of Motor Vehicles moves to allow anonymous trucks on the road. You know, they're progressive and then they're not. I mean, if you're not going to be progressive, don't be progressive. I don't care. There's a more of an opinion than anything else, but it's actually fact based. That Daimler Truck North America CEO John O'Leary told Automotive News, and your car guy, his company has both the manufacturing capacity and customer interest to sell 2,000 Freightliner Cascadia electric trucks this year, but there is a lack of chargers to support them. So you got this semi and you get halfway to where you're going and you got to take a week off to plug into a 110 outlet. Our customers need to be able to charge any of their trucks anywhere they are, O'Leary said, as Daimler prepared to unveil the Super Truck 2, an extra efficient concept model of its diesel Freightliner, on Wednesday at the Manifest Freight and Logistics Conference here in Las Vegas. There's almost no public infrastructure to power large electric trucks right now. The charging systems going into distribution centers and other facilities are only trickling forward. There again, I told you, it's coming inch by inch, hindered by long delays from utilities and the local government permitting access. Charging is the single largest barrier to electric truck deployment, said Mike Roth, Executive Director of North American Council for Freight Efficiency. In other words, we're going to try and be efficient.